So this next one's going to be fun and a little daunting. So I removed the cabinet out from in here because I'm going to build this bar outline. And I was thinking about all the power that we have on this wall. And this guy, I'm going to move into the bar. This guy I'm going to move so it's above the bar top, because right now it's in the way. And then this guy was actually falling, and it had broken the drywall, so it actually was falling inside. So I figured I might as well move this guy up to a shelf that I'm going to build up here. When I had gotten into the wall, I had noticed that the outside of the plastic shingles are right here. There's no outside wooden surface. And on the outside, I have this synthetic woven mat that I'm going to put on the outside, and I can't really put it over the plastic shingles on the outside of the house. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. So out here, I have these shingles, and I can't attach my woven mat to this. So I'm going to put exterior grade chipboard on the outside of this. So I'm going to remove all of these, all the plastic on just this patio area. And I'm going to put the wood up, but that also gives me full access to all of the electricity wires on the back side of this wall. So I don't have to go through the drywall and try to figure out what's going on back there. Once I remove all of this plastic, I'll be able to see all of that, and I can move it to wherever I want. I can also, on the inside here, there is the coax, because they used to have the TV right here. Well, we're not putting the TV here. We are going to put the TV over in this corner. And it's that restoration, or it's that classic style television. It's a flat screen, but it's inside of a box that looks like it's from the 60s. So we're going to put that over here in this corner. So I'm missing a coax. So when I get all this plastic off, I can actually run a new coax line up and over the door and down to the area. So it's a big daunting task to be able to, or to have to remove all of that, but it's going to work out really well in the end. And I'm a little nervous, but yeah, we learn things. It's going to be fun. All right, stay tuned. All right, well, that all worked out really well. So one of the added bonuses to it was when I took out the shelving unit on the inside, I still had that one that the microwave was attached to, and it was mainly attached to that other cabinet. So when I took it off, it was kind of floating. So I threw some screws in, but they just went through drywall because it didn't come in contact with the stud anywhere along its plane. So I got to add an extra piece of wood here that I screwed in, nailed into the studs, and now it has its screws coming in through from the microwave cabinet. So added bonus there. Then I got the other box installed for the shelf, and I got the coax run up and over the top of the door and down to this plug, which on the inside is perfectly next to the power plug for the television. So I move this guy up to where it's going to be above the countertop, and I'm not touching any of those, not touching that. This goes away and is now up here. So I just moved the outlet, and this is now totally sturdy with the screw going into the board, and everything is good. So now I'm going to skin the outside, and it'll be done until it gets the synthetic woven mat on it. So one of my favorite new things I bought recently it's called a Kreg jig. If you ever look on like the underside of your furniture or like chairs and you see those little holes that are kind of at an angle that hold the wood together and you can put the screw in, this is the little jig that makes those holes, and they're really handy and hidden, and it's a lot cleaner of a look instead of just like slapping two 2x4s together and running a screw through them. Now you can butt them together and come in with an angle, and it's a really cool trick, and I love this. I got it, and then the one that I got actually comes with a little clamp on one, so you can do smaller, like more portable Kreg joints. It's a really cool tool, and I suggest getting one of these. So what we're doing here is it gives you a little guide inside on how to do your settings for the Kreg tool. I have 1.5" thick wood, and I'm using a screw length of 2.5. So I need to put this at the 1.5 mark on the side. So you raise and lower this. And then you take the drill bit and you put it in the little slot here, and it tells you where to set. Depending on how, if I'm doing 3/4 wood, you set it there. If I'm doing 1/2 inch, or 1.5", you put it all the way down here. And then this little collar slides into where, and you block it in place. So now that we've done that, since my material is between 2 and 3 inches wide, I'm 2.5, then I'm going to be using A and B to center my piece of wood in here. You lock it down. And then when you're done, there are your holes, ready to go. And now we are left with a nice, beautiful, strong joint. All right, so frame is complete. The house is not level. I have it attached to the wall right now, and the wall is straight up and down. The floor is dropping this direction. So right now it's sitting here and it's hovering and it's level. If you were to lock it down to the ground, it goes out of square, or goes out of level. So I just have to shim that side and figure that out. But other than that, it's done. I'm gonna put some bottom shelves, probably another mid shelf in it. And then I do the bar top. Hello everyone. So the bar is been topped. So we're looking good on this. I went with 2 pieces of 3/4 ply. Makes it nice and sturdy. And then Gil was actually just here and left, but we were talking about what to do on top of the bar. And I think we're gonna go something in a blockage pattern. If some of you guys are familiar with what I did at the Suffering Bastard on those tables, I did like this blue turquoise blockage color. Here we're gonna go with something a little different. I don't like these colors per se, but I was just kind of doing a proof of concept to show him, you know, what I was thinking. And then we also talked about doing the entire bar top in old like Tahitian photos, like a lot of historic photos that he's got tons of, and then actually just could print off more. So maybe doing the whole bar top in that. So we have a couple different options. I have to figure it out soon because I want to resin coat the top of this before the floors get done. And we had somebody come by yesterday and we picked out a floor that we like, and it's on order, and it could take up to 3 weeks for that to come in and get done. So I have some things I got to get done in here before we get the floors done. Pressure's mounting. So I'm gonna get started. All right, so this is one of those really fun situations that I love that when it happens. So I'm measuring the plywood for making the doors. And then this part will be for people, you know, for drink cups or whatever. It'll just be open. So, measuring this distance from there across, it is 44.5. So I say to myself, another piece of plywood outside, it at least has to be 22.25 for this to work. So I can use it to make 2 doors out of it. So I come outside for this piece of wood and to measure it, and it is 22.25. Well, 22 3/8, but yes, 22.25. So that's awesome. I love it when that kind of stuff happens. Otherwise, I'd need a whole other sheet of plywood. I'd have to go get another giant 4x8 sheet of plywood just to do this door. And now I don't. Yay! So when I was building the bar, Gil was still here, and he had brought up a good point. He said, is there any possible way that we could put a locked side of the cabinet underneath the bar where we could keep booze so that if we ever stay here, you know, there's a nice supply of it. And I thought that, yeah, that's an easy thing to do. So I built a cupboard into this so that whenever he comes, he can keep his rum in this side and not worry about all the Airbnb people drinking all of it. Unless they want to leave some, and we're totally okay with that too. It worked out though. So the bar is pretty much done. I've got the whole thing skinned out. I've got the cupboard built with the lock on it, and then the shelves on the rest of the side. The only thing that's really left to do is make the drip rail catch side. I'll explain that. So I put in a bar mat width, which is 3 1/4 trough into the surface here, where I basically just cut down one of the sheets of 3 1/4, enough to leave that as the extension. That's where we can put in the bar mat. The thing is, this is exactly 3 1/4, and we also want the backside to catch the bar mat. So I'm going to put in a piece of wood here on the backside to catch, and then also will give us a nice solid piece of wood on the backside. And that'll do that. But other than that, she is looking good. Got the cabinet on this side. Keep all the private stuff private. And this is all going to be open. I'm actually going to build a little shelf in here for the receiver for the audio that runs through the house, and that stuff's on its way. I'm excited about that. Get some music in here. So we're looking good. On track. All right, so we have an awesome day today. I have a special delivery from Gil, which is exciting. So this place originally had this old radio / tape deck, pretty dated, and it was in the cabinet that used to sit right over here by the sliding door. And it has speakers in the ceilings, and they're all pretty dated. So in an attempt to try to upgrade this whole place to be a little more of like a smart house, the first things first was to upgrade the stereo system, because I'm kind of at that stage right now where I need to figure out where I'm going to run wires before I start filling the walls up with stuff. If I need to run wires behind thatch or try to poke through the wall and come out somewhere else, etc. So we ordered all the stuff, and it is in, and I'm going to unbox it, and I'm pretty excited about it. So let's see what we got here. This one is a wireless Bluetooth audio amplifier from Pile off of Amazon, and it fits in the parameters that I need to put it underneath the bar here. So this is pretty exciting. All right, so we have channel A, B, and C. This thing has D, E, and F. Huh. I wonder how many speakers this thing can run. So I'm gonna have to do some reading on this one, but it has everything that we need and more. And Bluetooth antenna, all the speakers coming in the back. So this is exciting. And then it has audio inputs, and also Bluetooth, like the Alexa, right to it. So if you're staying at the house, you can basically just tell the Alexa, play Martin Denny, and Exotica will play throughout the house. So that's exciting. And then we got some new speakers for the ceiling. And I had picked these Roxford Fosgate 6.5 inch, because that's the size of the speakers that are in the ceiling. And then we have some ideas on how to cover these up and make them look a little more retro, put something on top of it, so that they kind of camouflage and look more like maybe a 1930s speaker in the ceiling. So those are great. I'm excited about that. And then we have some outdoor speakers that we are thinking about putting inside of maybe like an old radio shell. So if we can find like a big enough old radio, take out all the guts and then put it over the top of these things, and it'll still play, because these are small enough and should sound great. So audio upgrades all around. Very cool. Let's get going. So I have to build a shelf for this one under here, actually. I want it raised up higher, just underneath the bar here. So I'm gonna build a little shelf just for it, and then we're gonna test and see if the wires that are already in the ceiling are gonna be good enough to run. If not, I have new speaker wires, and I have to figure out how to camouflage and get them up into those areas. And then this will also be for outside. All right. Well, that works. So that's exciting. I can now screw this one to the ceiling and continue on with the rest. All right, well, the shelf is done. The speakers are in. The only thing I have left to do is the outdoor speakers, but I'm gonna wait on that to figure out where they're going, if they're gonna go high or low. So the shelf is in. It's looking good. All the wires are running into the wall, and the speakers are in. Just looking good. So, all in all, successful. Pretty happy with that.